horror fans. We are continuing our reviews for the Scream films from this 5-film set, which actually only has 3 movies on there, and a third disc that has 2 documentaries. But now we are on Scream 3.
We're on Scream 3.
I know, that's what I said. Scream 3.
So Scream 3, Dave, I actually went to the theaters to go see this when it came out. My wife and I were like, we really wanted to go see this movie. We were dying to see this movie. And we were like, all right, Scream 3 comes out this Friday. So we went and got our tickets and everything, got in there. This was like one of the worst times I've ever had at the movie theater. Because the crowd that was in there was underage, most of them. And they weren't paying any attention to the movie. They were throwing things. They were on their cell phone. They were talking. They were laughing. No one's paying attention to the movie. And you could not hear it whatsoever. For a good 20 minutes, we could not hear the film. And we're telling people to shut up, and they're just mocking us. And we just got up and we finally left. We couldn't take it anymore. We got up and walked out, and we got passes to come back and see it. So it was like the worst experience of our lives going to the movies. It was really bad. But once we finally got to see Scream 3, it wasn't that good.
Well, I was just about to say, my experience about it was the fact that the movie wasn't very good. That was my experience. That was my whole experience. And to tell you the truth, Vince, it had been such a long time since I've seen Scream 3, I pretty much didn't even remember it. Until I started watching it, then I was like, oh, okay, I remember this now. But I pretty much had blocked it out of my memory.
But once we finally got to sit down, like I said, actually got to sit down and watch it and could hear it, it was okay, but it wasn't near as good as the other two. And the mystery was still there. You didn't know who the suspects were, or you knew who the suspects were, but you didn't know who the killer was. So the mystery was still kind of there, but once it was revealed who the killer is, it was like, really? It's kind of a letdown.
First of all, the big problem with this film is Kevin Williamson did not write it.
I mean, it was still a Scream movie because of Wes Craven.
Yeah, so this was written by Aaron Kruger, Vince, and it wasn't written by Kevin Williamson. And even though it was directed by Wes Craven, the script is what's really important here.
I mean, it still picks up after the Scream 1 and Scream 2, and it still has that Scream element to it, but it's not, it just doesn't come off as good. It just, a lot of the scenes that should have been really exciting and everything, they're just not quite as exciting. And once they start killing these people off, it's kind of like, it's not really entertaining anymore. Because the entertaining ones are now gone.
And that's what I said, Vince. That's what makes Scream fun, is not so much the killer as the cast. And once you start getting rid of the cast, the film is no longer as fun as it was.
But it's still the cast that you're going to there to see the cast, but you still don't know who the killer is.
One other thing about this film, and I think it's really stupid, is first of all, they pretty much took Dewey out of the police force. He's not even like in, he's not a cop in this film. He's nothing. He's just a guy dressed up. I think he was like a associate producer of the movie or something like that, wasn't he? That they're making in the film.
Oh yeah, he was like a consultant or something.
And that's not Dewey. I mean, Dewey's character is fun because he is sort of the bumbling detective, and that's what makes his character really cool and funny and everything. And they just totally took that away from him in this movie. They pretty much got away from what made the movie fun.
It was basically just a reason for the new cast members to have a reason to not only to get killed off eventually, but just to bumble around with the main cast to try to figure out who the killer was.
So let's get to the extras here. We have the same commentary that we had in Scream 2. So they probably just sat there and watched Scream 2 and then just threw the Scream 3 disc in and talked about that as well.
Well, I think what happened there, Dave, is it was the trilogy on one whole DVD set. And at the time that they did it, they did commentary for 1, 2, and 3. And I think they already had commentary for 1, so they didn't even bother with that. So they did 2 and 3. And pretty much exactly what you see on this Blu-ray is exactly what was on the DVD. So that's when all this came out, was on that DVD.
Yeah, I did. Did you listen to the commentary?
I didn't have time to sit there and listen to the whole thing, but I listened through about 20 to 40 minutes of it.
Yeah, I was really busy trying to edit the rest of Horror Month together here, so I didn't really have a chance to sit down and watch the entire commentary. I also watched pretty much right up until after Cotton was killed in the beginning of it.
Yeah, I listened past that. It's pretty much exactly the same thing as Scream 2, and you have Wes Craven explaining, scenes, and there's actually a little more interaction between him and the producer and the editor in this one than there was in the second one.
Now we get to the deleted scenes. Now this I actually found pretty freaking interesting.
Yeah, these deleted scenes were pretty good.
They basically filmed the whole Cotton Weary thing 3 times, 3 different ways on how he went into the house and got attacked by Ghostface. And I just found that the one they used in the movie was probably the weakest of the 3.
I kind of like the one where it was him by himself, and she was actually in the closet, and he's talking to who he thinks is his girlfriend. Finds her in the apartment, and then Ghostface shows up.
And what was also interesting about these is it's basically the deleted scene with no sound effects and no music, so you're just watching it without any of that, and it's kind of cool. But I actually did like the other one where he tried to get out of the skylight. They're like, oh, well, he's really buff because he was working out before this movie, and we thought, oh, hey, he could probably take on Ghostface. So, if he could get through a skylight, why didn't he just beat him up? And I was like, well, because Ghostface stabbed him through the freaking ankle with the knife.
But the other one, like I said, where he finds her in the closet, that one was pretty good. I like that one.
And I loved at the end where he says, I was going to be in the sequel, and Ghostface says something, he stabs him, and the movie starts. And they cut that out of the movie, too. And I thought, wow, why would they do that? That was a really cool line.
They cut all that banter between the two right there out.
Again, that would have made a much cooler beginning and a lot more fun, but then they cut it all out. So next extra we have is the alternate ending.
Oh, yeah, the alternate ending, which is pretty much exactly like the original ending.
I had watched the movie, and then I just recently watched these extras today, probably a week or 2 after I watched the movie. To tell you the truth, I couldn't even remember the ending of this film because it was so bad. By the ending of it, I didn't even care about it anymore. So I was trying to remember what was different and what was the same.
There's not much different. There's very little difference to it at all. It's just like little stuff all the way through it, but for the most part, it's exactly the same.
Okay, so then we have outtakes, which was, once again, bloopers from the movie.
And once again, this was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I thought this was even better than the Scream 2 one. This was a really funny outtakes they had on here.
This is one of the better features on the extra features.
And the very first one where Stewie's walking, or Stewie.
Go away, fat man.
And the very first one where Dewey is walking, and he just falls over something. It was just hilarious. And now they have a weird thing. It's just a behind-the-scenes montage.
This was like all 3 Scream films. Like you watch Scream 1, Scream 2, and then Scream 3. They're all behind-the-scenes stuff, but it's all to music.
But actually, I thought they did a really good job with this. It's really weird that they would go put, a montage together, Scream 1, Scream 2, and Scream 3. But some of the stuff they showed in the montage wasn't in any of the other films.
Actually, some of it was in the outtakes.
I thought they actually did a pretty decent job with that. And now, Vince, we have Creed.
There is no tomorrow.
This video wasn't that great, but I liked the idea of it. And it was much better than the rap songs that were on Scream 2.
Out of all the videos, I think Creed probably makes the worst videos ever.
Okay, I'm not talking about all their videos. I'm talking about the Scream ones.
Their videos are terrible. It's just the guy, what if, and, you know, he's just singing horrible, and then he goes in slow motion, like, hair is blowing, and it's all slow motion, and it's just so ridiculously stupid. And then, of course, his shirt pops open. It has to pose.
Well, like I said, the video is not that. It's not that great. It's just, at least it had something to do with Scream, whereas those two rap songs had nothing to do with Scream at all. They were just a bunch of guys jumping around in weird camera angles.
What if they never made this video? That's my question. It'd probably be a lot better.
But what David also forgot was the theatrical trailer and the TV spots.
No, I didn't forget them. I just didn't want to talk about them. All right, so movie-wise, I would give Scream 3 a 2 out of 5.
Poor.
Yeah, exactly. Extras are actually better than the movie on this one. I would give the extras on here a 3 out of 5.
Poor.
What? You saying porn? What about porn?
I didn't say porn.
I thought you were saying porn.
Why would I say porn?
I thought that's what you were saying, porn. I thought you were talking about the Creed video still. So what are you giving the movie, Vince?
I would actually give the movie itself a 3 out of 5. It was okay. It was entertaining, but it wasn't near as good as the first two films.
Porn. Porn.
That's what I thought he said too, David, so.
I'm pretty sure that's what he was saying. Porn.
I said poor.
Oh. I'm pretty sure he said porn.
I said poor, not porn.
It sounded like you said porn. I have to agree with David on that one. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? But I wanted to be quiet because you're filming.
That's how you get viewers, Vince. Porn.
I said poor. So, overall, for the extras features on this, they were actually a lot better than Scream 2. I would actually just give them 3 out of 5.
Porn.
I don't know where you got that from. I really don't. I didn't say that.
Okay. Still sound like you're saying it to me. So we have one more Scream to get through this month, Vince.
And that would be Scream 4.
And it will be coming up to you guys soon.
Join us the rest of this month, all this month, for more horror films.
And, most importantly, porn.
And subscribe. Subscribe, porn, and subscribe.
Exactly. That's what gets viewers, Vince. Porn.